right? You start a relationship. But again, I think it's about, there are definitely differences in a more sophisticated client and a less sophisticated one. And I think it's not so much intelligence, it's people who have been in therapy before. Are more sophisticated patients than someone who's never been in a room and perhaps extremely intelligent, but is in a situation they've never been in before and are having a hard time navigating what they're supposed to do with the time.
Is therapy all about crying?
No, but there's tissue boxes around. For many people, it is a release of emotions they've held on to a very long time. Sometimes it comes out in the form of tears, and sometimes there's so much laughter in the room. It is, it's fabulous. I mean, but all emotion is, there's so much that's been clogged and shoved down and pushed down and suppressed and comes out the orifices in other ways. So to have a place that can contain the joy and the fear and the love and the hate and the anger, and we have devices for all of it. We have there's bathrooms close by to vomit in, and there's tissue for tears, and there's lots and lots of room for laughter and for quiet time. It's a very calming place too. The silence tends to get very important.
If someone's going to go on a course of therapy, how often should they be going to therapy? Should it be like once a week? Is that normal?
I think once a week is average. Usually I like to see people twice a week, especially in the beginning. And it depends on what they're there for. And if it's crisis, sometimes it's 3 times a week. Okay. It really depends. I won't see anyone for less than once a week. I don't think it's therapy. I think that's maintenance at best. That will happen towards the end of therapy. We'll titrate down, and people will take the tools that they learned and do them in the real world outside of the world we create in the room and see how they feel about it. So we'll start going down in session time. But I don't think it is therapy when it's less than that.
And a session is normally an hour?
For most therapists, it's 45 to 50 minutes. That's a therapeutic hour. I build sessions modularly. It's kind of a strange bird in that I build sessions as long as people seem to need the time to get to a place where the small talk has ended and the feelings have started. And oftentimes that can hit the 45-minute marker, and it just doesn't feel correct that someone needs to bring up their emotions in the time period that I say works best for my schedule. So we start with a regular therapeutic hour, and then I start to see what people seem to be most comfortable in, and I'll bring forth, it seems like around 35 minutes after we get into session, you relax and we start, and therapy starts for you. Do you feel like it would be more beneficial for you for us to have an hour and a half session? Would you like to try it? I don't have the box that many therapists do, where people need to fit themselves into what works for the therapist. Right. I do home visits, and I do Skype visits and email therapy, and I think it is definitely more difficult for me, but it lends a certain flexibility that I think is very important. I don't think we are all the same, and I don't think that we can call on our emotions at exactly the same time.
People come into therapy for family of origin issues. Can you elaborate on that?
Sure. We're born into these households, and the family of origin is the mother, father, sister, brother dynamic, and it's those that are closest to us and have the most influence on our lives and in our creation and in our thoughts and behaviors. And many times I'll reflect back to and ask questions about what was it like growing up in your house? What did your bedroom look like? Who did you share it with? What kind of relationship did your parents have? Tell me more about your relationship with your sister. What was it like being the oldest of 6? Different things, whether it's the number of children in the home, divorces and blended families, and parents that died and parents that took over, have a tremendous effect on our development. So I'll look at the early years and then compare them to the current years and see if I can see some early kernels of what's going on right now. And it's not so much for me to see it, it's for them to discover and say, oh my gosh, I get it. I get it now.
So what does the aha moment do for you, though? Like, so someone says, I get it, and are they able to correct from there?
It seems to. It seems to really, really open a channel that is so exciting. You pray for those moments. I mean, you work very hard to get to those moments. And yes, they are life-changing. Once you know, you can't not know anymore. And that's how deep those aha moments are.
Say someone has a lot of darkness in their past. How does one separate from that darkness? Very traumatic experiences in their past.
Well, first, we're assuming that they want to by coming to therapy.
Right.
Some people recreate it over and over again and hold on to it. So we look at doing a lot of healing work, a lot of corrective parenting, a lot of loving, a lot of allowing the person to feel and to heal through their own feeling and to be gentle, and to learn to be gentle with ourselves and with each other. And healing work is growth work also, but I think it's a much more cellular level because the wounds are so deep. Oftentimes, keeping the secret of what happened is even worse than what happened. It's as bad as our secrets are. So somebody will come in for one thing and then we'll find out, or they'll share later that it was a whole lot worse. And for the last 6 months, they've just been testing me to see if I can sit with their darkness and contain the feelings, if they're comfortable, if they're ready to expose what really happened. And then it starts. Healing trauma is a long journey. It's a long journey.
So some people don't remember their past. What do you do for those people?
Well, I'm not convinced that you have to remember your past in order to heal what bothers you today. I don't feel that you have to remember that you were abused at age 8 in order to stop abusing yourself today. I think that we block out certain times for all kinds of reasons. Some cognitive reasons that we don't have the development to retain memory. Some because it was too painful and it gets repressed. And I don't think somebody has to remember everything in order to do the work.
What is the unconscious?
It's what we don't know that operates within us. And I'll give you an example. So you're really attracted to the same kind of guy over and over again. And you've told yourself you never want someone like Dad. And I laugh because so many people will say that. And then we'll look at what they're attracted to, and it's Dad in another form. And the unconscious part of us that doesn't understand what's pulling us to this destruction makes our pickers of people broken. So we have broken pickers. And we choose poorly. And we don't understand, you're sure this time this guy's not like that. And then sure enough, it's the same. So the unconscious is what we don't know that seems to be motivating us to move in different directions. And by helping somebody become more conscious, they can make better, wiser decisions. But some people want to keep things below the surface because it would mean changing their lives.
You said that you are also working with people with their dreams and dream state. What is that?
A lot of unconscious material is in our sleeping hours, our dream state. I notice with myself that My dreams